Today, we're talking about the latest injury updates around the Washington Commanders. We're also going to be talking about the one thing that the Commanders offense must do as they get set to take on the Denver Broncos. And so before we go ahead and we jump into it, I first want to remind you to hit that like, hit that subscribe, and follow the channel as we talk nothing but Washington Commanders football daily. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's jump into it. And let's start with the latest injury updates around the Washington Commanders. And so got a chance to see Dan Quinn's presser before practice today. And so if you want to check this out, you can head over to the Commanders YouTube page. And so just paraphrasing this, but it sounds like that a lot of players are trending in the right direction. And so he talks about Jayden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, and also Noah Brown. And so starting with the latest here with Jayden Daniels, he does say that he is probably not going to be playing in this game. He says he's unlikely to play in the game. And he also says that he's still not cleared for contact. However, he does say that Jayden Daniels will be getting some reps here. And he said that they are not looking to miss any steps on his return to play. And so, he was listed as a limited participant in today's practice, along with Noah Brown and Terry McLaurin, which just speaks to the fact that these guys are all trending in the right direction. But what I like is that he says that they're not going to miss any steps. And so that's something that Dan Quinn has said about players that have been coming back from injury this season, but also too, not missing any steps when it comes down to continuing to develop him, because I think that, a lot of times we forget, that he's just in year two. I think that he's already shown us some stuff here in the games that he's played. I think certainly he would be showing us some more here if he was on the field, but I think that that is probably the biggest argument for bringing Jayden Daniels back, regardless of what happens this season, is that when you are getting him these live reps, you're still very much helping him develop more as a quarterback. And so, I think that the significance now is that you have Terry McLaurin and you have Noah Brown coming back with him. And I said this on yesterday's video that if you are going to bring him back, then you need to bring the main pieces back with him. You want him to work, with the offense that was supposed to be out there from day one. And so, with Noah Brown and then also too with Terry McLaurin, both of these players were listed as limited in practice today. And so, I think that they both have a good chance of playing. It's probably all going to be about, just them ramping up throughout the week as practices, kind of pick up the intensity and everything else. And so I'm just guessing that if they can go out and just be themselves full speed and everything else and don't have any setback, then there's probably a good chance that maybe we see Noah Brown and Terry McLaurin out there. And so even without Jayden Daniels, you have to think that that is going to really lift the ceiling of this offense. And so, just thinking about it, when all three are able to come back and play, assuming that they do bring Jayden Daniels back, which I do think that that is going to happen at some point, then now, I just wonder how good is this offense going to look? Because I think that initially coming into this year, with Noah Brown, with Terry McLaurin, Jayden Daniels, and then Deebo Samuel, Zach Ertz, I think that we were all anticipating a lot of points. And this offense has kind of struggled over the last 5 games as they have been under 23 points. And so, I want to see, when you get all these players back, does the points go up, right? Does the production go up? Like, that is what I'm looking forward to seeing here if the Commanders are going to bring everybody back, which it sounds like that they are. And so, let's see if that does kind of unlock, I think, a guy like Deebo Samuel some more, because I think that he's done a terrific job this season. I think that defenses have really locked in on him a lot more this season, because really there hasn't been anybody else out there with him, because, the injuries and stuff that has happened to Noah Brown, Terry McLaurin, you have, a bunch of younger players that you're having to throw out there. Clearly, you don't have your QB1 out there as well. And so the timing, the rhythm, everything else is thrown off, and he's thrust into really, that wide receiver 1 position. And that's not necessarily Deebo Samuel, and that's not taking anything away from him. But I think that he's more of a guy that probably works off your wide receiver 1 and really as you have other players that are stretching the field and everything else, I think that that's where Debo can be special in the passing game. And then also, too, that's where you can kind of get some teams, really fooled with just the end arounds and the jet sweeps and stuff like that. It just opens up your offense that much more with the versatility. And so that is absolutely what I'm looking forward to seeing here as all these players are trending in the right direction. And so once again, Jayden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, they were all listed as limited on the practice report today. Jayden Daniels, unlikely to play, but Terry McLaurin and Noah Brown, I think, would certainly be a possibility as far as playing this week if they can continue to, keep trending up here. And so that's just me guessing here. We didn't hear that from Dan Quinn, but I think that that's where things are going. And so next, I wanted to go ahead and jump into really one of the things that the offense is going to have to do against the Denver Broncos. And so, make no mistake about it, the Denver Broncos defense is very, very tough, which we're going to talk about that some more this week. But I think what it comes down to is really it's going to be balanced. Like, I think that this offense will really need to find a way to get in balance. And I think that that kind of goes into what I'm talking about with the playmakers coming back here. And so even if you don't have Jayden Daniels and you have Noah Brown and Terry McLaurin coming back with Marcus Mariota, that's going to help your offense. And I think that what happens now is that if your running game continues to do well, which we know that the offense, even with the struggles, has been, a top 10 rushing attack in the National Football League, that is going to help you because now, you're going to press the Denver Broncos up front, and hopefully you can start to open it up with these play actions. You can get the screens going and stuff like that. You can get the defense moving around because now they have to honor the fact that you're just not a one-dimensional football team. I think that that has probably been some of the bigger struggles with this team is that you just really haven't been able to get balanced. And I think that, with the fact that the team has gotten down in games early, that's kind of taken the run game out and stuff like that. But I do think that now, if you're getting both of these wide receivers back, you have a guy like Chris Rodriguez Jr., who I think has been hot the last couple weeks here, since he's been featured. And so hopefully they're able to feature him some more. And I think it's a great thing that he's leading the backfield. And then you have, Bill working off of him along with Jeremy McNichols. Like, there's a chance here that, you can really, press the Denver Broncos. Now, it is going to be tough because the Denver Broncos just don't give up a whole bunch on the ground. They are tough against the pass. They lead the league in sacks and things like that. So the way to slow down the pass rush is you need to be able to run the football. And also, too, if you're going to give yourself a chance in this game, you have got to have the entire playbook opened up if you're going to attack, the Denver Broncos and everything else. And so, by the way, just with Chris Rodriguez Jr., one of the things that I did see here on the practice report is that he actually did not practice due to an illness. So hopefully he is able to go. This is not something that was talked about here by Dan Quinn today, but I did see that on the practice report. So hopefully he is able to go. And so anyway, you guys let me know in the comments here what you guys are thinking as far as just one of the keys here for the Commanders is just being balanced against a tough Denver Broncos team at home. And next, let me know what you guys are thinking as far as the latest updates that we have. And so again, it looks like that Noah Brown and then also too Terry McLaurin were back on the field, limited today. But again, if they can continue to piece together some practices here, hopefully they're able to get back out there this weekend. That's going to help this team. Then also too with Jayden Daniels, he's back on the practice field, and it looks like that he's expected to take some reps. Dan Quinn again says that there is no contact for him and that he is unlikely to play. But let's see what happens here by the next week. And again, the Commanders very much can keep themselves in the hunt if they can win games here. And so let's see if they can win some games and get Jayden Daniels back. Maybe that is going to be critical down the stretch here for this team. And so anyway, you guys let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking. And as we always say, go Commanders, and I will see you guys on the next one. All right, peace.